You're listening to The Bon Ray Show. It's 8 in the evening. Tune in every night at 8 to listen to The Bon Ray Show on Irish News Radio or ITV.ie. And you can contact anything that you've heard or if anything you'd like to discuss at news@irishnews.net. I'll explain why the left and Islam stick together and why they're really turning one of the same. And it's very hard to actually tell the difference between them. They seem to just be stick so close, they're almost like glue. So welcome back, Elvis. What were you saying there? Sorry.
Thank you very much. I said it is a very complicated, confusing question, basically, what it is. Lots of people asking questions. Lots of people are lost that why is this? What's happening? Why the Western countries, Europe, America, Australia, and all the sorts of Western civilization is for the last 10, 15 years is interested in Islam, and all of a sudden things has changed. They flooding the immigrants, mainly Muslims from Middle East to the Europe, and they want to change literally everything. They want to replace the European nation. They want to replace the history. They want to destroy literally everything on the way to Europe. And lots of people can't understand why is this? What happened? And if you remember back a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, we had a chat that what is the connection between West and the Islam? Why Islam why European countries doing this? Is it the madness? Is it the some kind of suicidal decision that they have made to commit suicide? They kill themselves. What it is that they doing it? Last time the Islam came to Europe, he stayed here for 400 years, destroyed literally everything. And they
welcome it back? I mean, surely, particularly most politicians would have this information. And Islam, they've been warning the West, and particularly, you go through most, leaders at some start in most Western countries have been warning against Islam and it coming into the Western world. For the reasons that we see that we're living in now, that the Western leaders completely ignore. Why is it so much that they want it?
Well, it is. Last time when the Islam came, it was a different story. Europe didn't know anything about Islam. Europe was completely unfamiliar with Islam, and they came and by the sword, by the large number of army that they had, they managed to get to Europe, and literally 400 years they stayed here, raped, murdered, and conquered the sort of almost 75% of Europe, right? Up until after 400 years, we managed to get them out by the people that, funny enough, European now, they cursing them. They saying the Crusaders, they were bad and they were murderers. And if they weren't a Crusaders, what they did, we should have been speaking Arabic by now, right?
Yeah.
Already said that. Now is a different story. Now the West come to this conclusion, well, basically to this discovery, to this conclusion that Islam is that perfect tool that they wanted. Always they wanted. It works perfectly with their idea, basically, what they're going to do. Islam is, unlike what the Muslim actually is saying, is the religion of peace and is religion. First of all, it's not a religion, is a ideology, is the military system, is the financial system, is the totalitarian system, is the full control system. It literally controls everything, all your aspects of your daily life. They tell you how to eat, how to wake up, how to eat, literally everything, right? And people do not know this. And the Muslim denying it. And they say, no, it's not such a thing. It's a beautiful religion. Women have a freedom as it was apparently a women march for peace in what they call it in America. And this woman, she was saying that Islam is the religion of peace. Women being given a right equal to men, and all kind of a joke, really. I mean, none of them is real. I mean, go and read it, see, if she's telling the truth.
Yeah.
And kind of, they have it a propaganda, and the left and the sort of our governments now helping them, supporting them.
Yeah.
Don't forget, sort of from Tony Blair to David Cameron to George Bush to all of them, they keep coming saying a single common thing: Islam is a religion of peace.
They're trying to fucking brainwash us with that. It's absolutely, it's usually after a terrorist attack that they say that, which is hilarious. Each time a country is attacked, they go, Islam is a religion of peace. I think they believe that if they keep saying it enough, it'll actually happen or something. It's just so bloody ridiculous.
Well, why it is because people don't have a knowledge of Islam. Because people in Europe, as I said, they grew up with a sort of Christian values. Yeah, we have told that love the enemy, pray for your enemy, love everybody, love thy neighbor, and things like that. So we brought up with this mentality. Don't forget. Yeah. And they're using it, they're abusing it against us. Yeah, they're using this sort of thought and the way we brought up against ourselves, right? And because we don't have a knowledge of Islam, it's hard to believe. You see, it's hard to believe for anybody that a religion can be just like this. I mean, unbelievable. When you're saying, Muhammad, for example, one evening he's beheaded 900 people. You must be joking. No way. It's hard to believe. I don't blame him because they don't read it. They don't read it. They don't know anything about it. And I give an example of what happened in Iran, if you remember. I said, when the revolution happened, lots of people sadly lost their lives. Young, old, women, men, children, they lost their lives, right? And and immediately after the revolution, the war started between Iran and Iraq, and millions of people lost their lives, right? Millions from both sides. And it took about 9.5 years almost. So when the revolution happened, we had a very active and large, very popular Communist Party, yeah, and it was one of the very kind of active system in our universities, right? Communism was very, very active and very popular as well. It was a trend, I would say.
Why? Yeah, it's become very popular in Ireland. Like, I barely heard about communism up to a few years ago, and the Irish seem to, all political parties seem to have this, like, highlighting love for communism. I'm like, surely if communism was that good, then, communism countries wouldn't be trying to jump over walls to escape it. Surely they'd be quite happy in it.
You see, because it works with a naive and kind of way the youngsters they think, because youngsters they believe, the world should be nice, we all should be hugging, kissing each other, like what John Lennon was, for example, singing about, God knows, about 30-40 years ago. Imagine. And where is John Lennon to wake up that son of a and see the thing that he was dreaming. How does it work? It's not 100% complete yet, right?
Yeah.
So you see, we had loads of idiots, and we still do, right?
Oh, yeah. I think we've probably more in Ireland at the moment. I don't know where. We just seem to have caught up with the rest of Europe and seem to be passing them out because of Leo. Like, before we were like, we had none of any of the problems Europe was having.
Yeah,
We were kind of isolated. But now we seem to be catching up and overtaking.
yeah,
It's only a matter of time before you see a proper terrorism attack in Ireland, and you're guaranteed to hear the same shit as you hear in the rest of Europe. It's a religion of peace. He
mhm.
was, yeah, mental illness. Oh, it could happen to anyone. Or they may not even tell you the religion or the thing. It's just so unbelievably sick and stupid. I
Yeah.
really, just so annoying with the madness of it.
And you see, what is been being said to these youngsters that in communism and socialism, yeah, everybody should be equal. Oh, how
Mm.
wonderful. Sounds lovely, isn't it? Sounds lovely. Everybody should be equal. But you see, they don't use their head just to think, right, how you going to be equal? If you are a doctor, imagine, yeah,
Yeah.
you should have been studying years and years and years and spend thousands of pounds, thousands of hours, energy, restless, sort of time, and lots of stress, and you name it, to get to the level that you become a doctor. All right, you should be awarded for what you are. Yeah,
Yeah,
if
for the
you are,
dedication.
if I
Yeah.
believe, if you are a doctor and you, let's say, drive in a Lamborghini, I would say good luck to you. Good luck to you. Well done.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. But how I can, because you see, I'm an educated person, right? I
Yeah.
studied 3 times in universities, right? In here,
Yeah.
3 times, right?
Yeah.
And I spent thousands of pounds and God knows how many long
Power.
nights up to morning, restless time without a sleep, stress,
Yeah.
lots of worries to eventually finish my degrees. And then I did one
Yeah.
master degree,
Yeah.
right?
Well
So,
done.
although I haven't been awarded so what I wanted, life has been a bit unfair to me, and now I'm sort of in a time that sort of because of my age and also my nationality, I'm having a sort of a bit of a difficulty to get what I wanted. But you see, I do understand what does it mean, right? I do not want to be put same to the person that he hasn't done anything in his life. He hasn't worked in his life. He hasn't studied in his life and come and stay next to me equal.
Yeah.
Where is the fairness? You just use your head. You just use your head.
Yeah.
We are not equal. We never been
No.
equal.
No.
If look, it is the same story. I don't know. I mean, I don't have the answer to you. If you believe in God, go and ask God why He has done it this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you believe in, I don't know, some kind of a supreme being and kind of as Buddhist or Hindus thing, go and ask the universe why universe done that this way. I don't know. I can't give you answer to that. But you
Yeah.
see, what I can say is this: that, for example, people come and call me racist.
Yeah.
You are racist. And I said, can you tell me why I'm racist? Because you are a racist. I said, well, okay, let's say you're right. But I asked the guy, I said, do you believe in God? And he said, yes. I said, did you know God is very racist? He looked at me and said, what the hell I'm talking about? He said, what have you been smoking? And I said, I'll tell you in a minute what I've been smoking. I said, you know, all the creatures of God, let's say, right? All the creatures of God for millions of years, they've been going with their own kind. And therefore, for sort of millions of years, they stayed as they are, as what they're supposed to be. And we recognize them after millions of years. You never see giraffe go with a cat jump on the dog, or I don't know, dog jump on the whatever, you know. But
Yeah.
all they go with their own kind. Even the birds goes with their own kind. The fish is going with their own kind. The sea creatures all with their own kind.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why is that, you know, but it is. And if you want to think about it, that is very racism, isn't it? That's very racism. Yeah, that's very racist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I told
Yeah.
the guy because he had sort of he wasn't expecting to have such answer, and he was turning to go and said, "Well, I'm not finished yet." I said, "That includes the human race." He said, "How come?" I said, "Do I look like Japanese?" He said, "No." I said, "Does Japanese look like African?" He said, "No." I said, "Does African look like a Swedish?" No. Does German look like Eskimo? No. Do they speak the same language? No. I said, so what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
So racism is in the nature, right? If you call it racism, it's not a racism, it's how it's supposed to be. So
Yeah.
that we can be recognized. So in the past, you could easily look at the Japanese and say, oh, are you from Japan? Yes. Look at the German. Are you from Germany? Yes. Are you from, I don't know. You could easily say, yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's not that easy.
Yeah.
You
Well,
got
they're
the,
trying to make it. It's still kind of like that now
so
in Ireland. You
can
can.
you see how difficult it is? Look, I've seen. I had a friends, basically classmate, whatever. They were half caste, yeah.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, I talked to them. I talked to them. They were very confused. They were very, very confused people. They didn't know where they're standing. Are they white or are they black? Are supposed to be are they supposed to be celebrating this or they celebrating that? They didn't know. They didn't know where the hell they're standing. You know, I mean, even
Yeah.
the look is not right. Is something very to me is very very kind of I don't know some kind of a freakish. Yeah, the
Yeah.
whitish but towards yellow, and then the hair is sort of extremely curly but blonde. I don't know. Some people might like it, but to me, to be honest with you, it doesn't work, right? Anyway, to just answer these people, just tell them how it is. So look, it's a matter of use your head, use your imagination, use your I don't know common sense, right? See how the work is. They throw in these titles on everybody. Even the guy called me, he said, "You are a Nazi." Seriously. So why am I a Nazi? Why do you think I'm a Nazi? Because you are. I said, well, I would be appreciated if you can explain it to me why I'm a Nazi. Because if it's something really, it's Nazi, so I can change myself. I said, look, mate, I'm not a lefty to be Nazi. Nazis were National Socialists. They were socialists. Not, I'm right. I cannot be Nazi. You are a left. You are a Nazi.
Yeah. That's right.
You are. Yeah. You being arrogant and you being aggressive towards me. I'm not doing anything. Why am I a Nazi and you're not? You see, this is what we should start to educate ourselves. To think about really what we're doing, what we're saying. I was telling you about Iran that when the revolution happened and sort of during the war people lost their beloved one, this communism, national socialism, it was very, very trendy and kind of popular in the universities. So you couldn't get into the club if you weren't. Possibly even you wouldn't pass if you weren't a socialist or a communist. because obviously the lecturers were one of them. You could recognize them by how they
About
were.
Islam and the left, and how they are absolutely terrified to even be seen talking out, even when it comes to child marriage, female mutilation, acid attacks, grooming gangs. They are.
Thanks for having me again.
Yesterday, I got a frantic phone call off a girl yesterday who was terrified. She knew two people who were getting into politics and were terrified that they were in an anti-Islamic group. So much so, it actually sets even so-called people on the right in a panic tone. She was like, oh, they have to be clean. It's like, what? Like, people should be able to speak out about Islam because it's not a race. And it's either, if they're getting into politics, they should know this.
Well, yes, why it is, because Islam really is not a race, is the system, is the political, military, financial, totalitarian system. It controls every aspect of your life. I did mention it before. Very this morning, I was listening to RT, and apparently in Strasbourg, France, in the parliament, they were rejecting the Sharia law in France, and they're saying that certain part of the Sharia law is not really compatible with the human right, and which is very true. Which is very true. Yeah, which is very true. And
well, this is very true. Like, I can't believe that they're only discovering that now, considering how long Islam has been in France. But yeah, carry on, Elvis.
And one of the regular Muslim commentators that bring in Muhammad something is called. He's an irritating guy. Actually, I look at his face; it just irritates me. You know, while looking at his face, he's such an arrogant person. He just argues with everything. He was saying immediately he turned to the other person and started accusing him of being a far right, and immediately he threw the far right in. You see, the minute you talk, they stick it to you. But I think this is what the Muslim has learned. Not only Muslim, the leftists have learned. You see, you walk and they just look at you. You are a Nazi. You are a fascist. You are racist. You are this, without even knowing the meaning of any of this. Without knowing why I'm a racist, why I'm a Nazi, why what I've said that it makes me fascist. God's sake, what is the fascism, and why I'm associated with them. Why do you think I'm a Nazi or fascist or anything? Anyway, why it is, this is a common thing in Islam, and now they have learned. The Muslims have learned how to confront us, with this, because they're using the democracy, what we got in here, all the sort of rights, human rights, sort of freedom of speech, everything, using it against us, right? They know one of the things in here is forbidden is the matter of racism. The minute you walk, oh, you are racist. The minute you say, oh, you are a Nazi. So look, talking about Islam shouldn't make me Nazi, is a freedom of speech. We in here even making a joke about Christianity. We got cartoons, for example, sort of coming from America. They mocking up about Jesus Christ and sort of making a joke of him. Look, we don't go and literally complain about that to anybody and kind of even stabbing, killing, assassinating people because just they said something to Jesus Christ or Moses or here and there. But the Muslim do. So if I'm criticizing, if people are free to criticize Jesus Christ, then I don't know why not Muhammad. Why we cannot talk about Muhammad and what he says and he did and he said. Unfortunately, here it breaks the line. Yeah, it is not compatible with us and with our way of life. And here we are, either we have to change or we have to make the Muslim change. Obviously, we've been living here and we belong to here, and Muslim no. Muslim don't belong to here. The definition of Europe stands for the Christianity and the Crusaders. Basically, all the things we got in Europe is valued, is the Christian value. based on that, and architecture, art, everything. You look at everywhere around corner is you can sign off Christianity in it. That's the way it has been, right? And now the Muslim come and want to basically take over the say, you know what, you have to obey our law. No, we can't. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. You know, I mean, nobody invited you to come here. If you are not happy, please take a Sharia law, a Sharia court, or anything you are happy with. You know, go to where you are going to be happily implemented. It's not going to work in here.
Yeah, I just think the left seem to be, and even some of the right are absolutely terrified. I mean, I got a frantic call last night. It was crazy. It was, are you such and such in such a group? It was just like, they're going into political. They have to be squeaky clean.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you serious?
Yes.
I go on an insane kind of, over the top dramatic situation, like, they can't be seen being anti-Islamic. Well, if they had half a brain, they wouldn't be anti-Islamic. So either they're traitors, or or they're stupid. Well, either way, they shouldn't be going into politics if they're not anti-Islamic.
No, you
We
see,
have enough traitors in government as it is.
yeah. What it is, it worked from it worked in Iran, you know. And I was giving the example. I was talking about Iran last night, and how did they implement in there? Sort of the same system, right, with a different way. When the revolution happened, it was with the help of the lefties. Yeah, we had many groups in there. One of them was completely communist. They had every sign of the communism, everything, their sign, flags, everything. The other one, they were Muslim lefties, believe it or not, still active in here in London. I confronted them basically couple of weeks ago.
How does that work? How do you be a lefty and a Muslim? How would that work?
That's the thing. That's the joke about it, right? Even Shah of Iran called them communist Muslim, and they said, no, we are not communists. We are, hold on. If you look at their flags, yeah, and I showed it to my friend where we were marching. I said, look at these people. Don't talk to them because they are a bunch of traitors who betrayed the nation of Iran. They betrayed the country of Iran. They betrayed all the sort of belonging to Iran. Yeah, even Shah of Iran. Yeah, they was the two.
They sound like Sinn Féin, actually, in this country, because
That's
Sinn
right.
Féin used to be a Republican nationalist, and all into independence, sovereignty. And when it was founded in the 1900s, that's what it was in the Republic, and what they're doing is dirting all the names of the founders, like Konstantin Markovich and all the people who founded it and started it up. And they're literally into Islam, and they go and have communism flags. It is completely shocking. Now they don't even call themselves a national party. They call themselves, they are Marxism, and they're social Marxism, which is it's insane that they have just dropped the whole of the Catholic Northern Irish like a bomb.
Yeah.
Like literally, they have nobody. They're isolated up there with no representation. Not that we have any better down here, but it's absolutely shocking that they left them just like that and said, oh, we're on to a new agenda. We want to be in the EU. Oh, we'd like to be 32, but we don't want to be independent. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, you see, adjusting themselves. You see, they know how to adjust themselves with the situation. They're turning with the wind, yeah? But if I explain this the people to you, actually, they had their flags, those Iranian lefties, yeah? They call them Mujahideen Khalq, yeah? It means, I mean, even the name of Mujahideen, look, they are jihadis. I mean, how simply I can explain it to you, I mean, jihadis, right? Jihadi of people. That's the name of their group, right?
Wow.
And their flag is literally, if you look at it, is the simple version of the what they call it, the God in the Lebanon, oh God, I forgot all of a sudden.
Don't worry, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, it's sort of the Iranian, the Hezbollah, sorry, Hezbollah, yeah, I forgot the name of them, is the flag that Hezbollah copied from theirs, right? Literally, if you look, is the arm holding a gun, Kalashnikov, and underneath it is written as a part from the Quran, yeah. So it's one of the sort of orders that Muhammad has said. So look, if you look, that part actually, because it's a Quranic thing, verse, it refers to Islam, and the other one is all, and it got a star on the top of the gun, yeah. So look, it's all the sort of communism thing in there, science, and the Islamic. So they are Islamic Muslim. Sorry,
It's
Islamic
so bizarre.
communist.
Oh, the left are they're insane. Like, it's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
like, ask when all this madness happened in Iran, and still, can Iranian people leave, or what happens? Because I actually think this is going to be exactly repeated here in Ireland and in other European or the EU states.
Yeah.
When the British leave, I think there's going to be a crackdown and people won't be allowed to leave. I think it's going to be, because the freedom of speech, the Lisbon Treaty is coming into play now.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech, because they have autonomy over every member state now,
Yeah.
and every person in it. So what happened in Iran? Were they allowed leave, or were
No.
perhaps
They received a death warrant from from Khomeini when he sat on power after 5 days. Yeah. So what is funny that in the beginning they would look at each other as a useful idiots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Khomeini was an old man, and these communist group, they were basically leftists. They were youngs, mostly young. They thought, oh, you know what, he's a stupid old man, and we can seduce him or something. They didn't know that Khomeini, he's taking a step on the footstep of the Muhammad, and Muhammad was a deceiver. Muhammad was a cheating, lying man. He was a hypocrite, literally. If you read his life, you can easily see. I'm not accusing, I'm not lying, I'm not making it up. Go and read it for yourself. The life of Muhammad, and see how many cheating, lying, deceiving, I don't know, things he has done. Yeah, I've given it examples from the past, and I'll give it again. But before actually I lose my track, what I'm going to do is give you an example of what they did in Iran. How did it happen in Iran? So take a lesson from this, because if it happens in the past, it's going to happen again. And it's happening again anyway.
Yes, yeah.
It is. We had this group previously active before the revolution, during the time of the Shah. They were doing some sort of terrorist attacks here and there, coming on the street, start shooting people, shooting sort of the bank, shooting the police, or things like, what, for example, IRA was doing here in England, kind of putting a bomb here and there, or sort of, And then when the revolution happened, obviously these people were armed. They already had the arm, yeah. And they thought, okay, right, let's join and unite together, yeah, all the groups. And later on, we can sort out our problem between us after we topple down the Shah of Iran, because Shah was strong, and they had to unite against.
Why did they get rid of him so badly?
Well, this is what I'm saying. That was a literally. If you play chess, you can see what it happened in 1979. It was a series of activities and unrest in the region, and Iran was in the middle of the thing. It was Afghanistan was occupied by Russia, Pakistan. It was a coup d'etat after coup d'etat during the Bhutto. Turkey was coup d'etat after coup d'etat. Every week they had a coup d'etat. Actually, after that time, if you take a record, you can see the only countries that were in almost peace, it was Iran and Iraq. So it was a sort of chess game, political chess game played between Russia and America to place their game. And Iran, basically, I think at the end, they had to block it against Russia but they played a kind of very different game in there. He was partly right, partly left, but he came by the name of left, possibly, most possibly, yeah. And the Communist Party, they had as I said, they had a quite active and large number of people, and it was another group. It was very old, older than any communist parties. Is called Tudeh party. Literally, it was something that most of dads and granddads of us, they were part of it. It was something in the past, yeah, but still it was active, but it was banned by the Shah, so it was illegal party. And then when these Mujahideen Khalq and the other one, they were called Cherikai Fadai, yeah, they were, as you can see, was a sort of some kind of militant communist group, yeah, and they were very active in universities. So when the Shah of Iran fell and sort of the revolution settled down, and that was when they united with the Khomeini. This is what I was saying. I forgot again. They sent a message to Khomeini that let's unite against the Shah of Iran and let's topple him down. And then this is what they did. Khomeini welcomed it and he said, yeah, why not? Because they were armed. So he said, you can use them as a useful idiot. They are armed and you get the barracks basically, And this is exactly what they did in the beginning. But Khomeini was much, much more clever. He was an old fox and they didn't know about him, right? And then basically they joined the thing, revolution had his victory and they settled down. And after 5 days later, Khomeini ordered they all to be killed. So most of them, they ran away to Iraq. And those who couldn't, they were arrested and they were executed immediately.
Why didn't so many Iranians leave, or could they not leave, or what happened when it became an Islamic State then? And why did people, because I saw all the protests and seen pictures of women protesting the hijab.
Yeah.
Why didn't those women leave? Because obviously they had an idea of what was coming, even more so than women in Ireland, because I don't even think the Irish women would protest because they're so clueless about it. So obviously the Iranian women knew, and obviously it was their freedom being pushed. It's hard to know. Why didn't they get up and leave?
Well, women, they were deceived. Women, they were on the front line of that revolution. If you look at every demonstration, women are in front.
Yeah, I saw that, because they were doing amazing stuff over there. At that stage, around their freedom, their women's freedom would have had more than they would have in Ireland at that particular time in 1979. I've seen their pictures, I've seen them in miniskirts and on beaches in bikinis, and that they were completely free.
Yeah.
So why didn't they leave?
They couldn't. I mean, immediately the war started after less than 6 months. Immediately the war started. And the borders were closed and controlled, so nobody could leave. When I came back in 1989 to England through Turkey, I had my visa from Istanbul, Turkey, and I got here. I was the first Iranian ever entered legally, and they were checking my passport. They even called. They couldn't believe it. They said, no, nobody's coming legally. How did you get this? And they called Istanbul and they said, no, that's legal. They read the serial number and everything was working. So everything was closed. All the businesses were closed. I mean, we had nothing running. All the universities were closed. All the businesses were closed. All the foreign companies out. Literally, the country collapsed and it was in the war officially. And we were sanctioned. So you can see how it works. But women were deceived. Women, they were easiest one to deceive. Why? They were, especially in Shia Islam, they are a couple of women that they were leader of these sects, Fatima and I don't know this and that. They were all kind of, heroic personality in the history of the Shia. This is how Khomeini was always referring to women, and emotionally, he was playing with them, sort of like, yeah, you lost your beloved husband and son, and you lost your father, and you lost your this and that, and he was playing them. He was keeping them emotionally hard. This is how they were doing even in the war, in the front line. Through the religion, they were irritating them against the Saddam, who's the Yazid, and he killed Hussein, and you've got to kill this bastard, and this and that. So Islam is nothing like Christianity or Judaism. Muhammad had his sword all the time, and he killed, he assassinated. That's how he said it, that I've been made victorious through terror. And he says, we will cause terror in the heart of the non-believers. So look, this is not a peaceful religion that most people think. It is peaceful amongst themselves. This is what he says. Yeah. If you are a Muslim, they should look after you as a Muslim brother, but not everything. But they saying, oh no, it's everybody. It says love everybody. No, it doesn't say that. It says love your Muslim brother, and it's a punishment if a Muslim killed a Muslim. But if a Muslim killed a Christian, there is no punishment. Possibly a reward even, not a punishment.
Reward, yeah, they go to paradise if they kill enough of them, yeah.
Yeah. So what happened in that revolution after that? The communism was very active in universities, and what Khomeini, they had a message passed to Khomeini, and he said, look, is something dangerous happening, and we have to do something about it. Communism is taking over, amongst the youngsters and becoming very popular. So Khomeini immediately came on the stage and started talking to the nation that people of Islam, Muslim people, you lost lots of people in the revolution, during the revolution. You lost your beloved son and husband and father and this and that, and still we are losing our people in the war because it was still the war. We are being slaughtered and martyr of these things, kind of every time. And he says, is your Islamic duty, this is how it worked. Your Islamic duty now is the duty. It's not a law, it's not anything else. Is the duty of your Islam, basically your faith. You have to report any of these communist people, whether in your workplace, in school, in house, in your relatives. Is your duty to report these people. So immediately what they did, people, because it's the Islam now, is that you talking Islam, and it's your duty to do it.
This is exactly being repeated now by the EU. So this, because freedom of speech is going to be gone, so people will have to be reporting people speaking out. Now it'll be under the name of, oh, they were racists, but it'll be anybody speaking out. It's quite shocking, actually. I can see everything that's happened there coming to play here.
That's exactly the same principle the left is playing. The Muslim immediately saying, "Oh, you are a Nazi, you are a fascist, you're racist." You see, the same principle, different titles. They point you just to shut you up. Is the same way, and I explain it to you in a minute. So literally, what happened? If you believe it or not, the mothers start even reporting their own sons. Son or
Oh
son.
my God! Really? Wow.
And they reported them. When they killed them, they interviewed the mothers, and she said, I'm a proud mother that I gave my sons, my betrayal sons, who were betraying Islam and the Muslim and the nation of Iran.
I never thought I'd see these sort of things happen here. I always thought, that was, something that, that they were brought up with, but it happens so quickly. I can actually almost see the left is doing that.
Yeah, the left is doing that. But if Islam take over, God forbid me, hope not,
Yeah.
then you can see people will do that. Because look, you can see a very simple version of it. It's called honor killing.
Yeah. In the UK,
That is the version of what I'm saying. Yeah,
it hasn't come here yet, but I know it's on
that's
its
right.
way. Yeah.
It's happened in London many times. You know, many in
Yeah.
Manchester here and there in the UK. And what it is, if the girl, for example, she had a Christian boyfriend or she had sex with, I don't know, an English guy, you know, or something,
That's
then
Islamic.
that's it. That's it. She got to be killed, right? And the
Yeah.
father threw the first stone, and the mother the second stone, right? And the brothers and following, you know, then people start sort of shooting the thing. This is barbaric, and
Absolutely.
you
Fucking
know,
disgusting.
and what it is that if the Muslim not doing it in here by stoning, let's say, right, it's because they can't. Still, they are not settled down. They're still in minority. Yeah, so they can't implement it here yet.
Yeah.
But if they get into power, they will.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
And you
they
can
will,
see
they
it
will
there. They're
hang
getting
in the
it.
streets. They will hang in the streets. They will stone in the street, and got to be in the public, because what they're saying, the public got to see and learn.
But you know what scares me more, Elvis?
Yeah.
It's not even all that. It's the left. I can actually see them allowing and helping them do this, and anybody talking about it against it are racist, and
Yeah.
they will condemn them all to death. That's
Yeah.
what scares me more, is the left, because they're absolutely insistence that it's a race and that it has to be protected. So much so, as I was saying, I got a frantic call yesterday. Now, she's supposed to be someone who's on the right, but
Yeah.
the frantic call for two people who are going into politics, that they were in an anti-Islamic group, was insane. It was like, what are you talking about? And you can actually see that's what. So when you're talking about that, that frightens me more, as the left.
Yeah. Why it is in Iran, for example, what I was saying. Let me finish that, and I'll come back to your point actually in a second. That in Iran they're using this vulnerability towards the religion, yeah, and people, because they're Muslim and they got faith and they are brainwashed, yeah, immediately saying, look, you got to do this, and that is your Islamic duty. They did the same thing on the finance when we were sanctioned and, you know, sort of short of money and everything. So they had to get this money to get the war machine running. So they came and they start sort of saying, yeah, is the we need money, and is the Islamic duty of every businessman to contribute finances, you know, towards this war. And they did, and they did. Lots of people came and sort of give a sort of 10 Land Cruisers, for example, Toyota Land Cruisers, as a gift to the front line, to the Islamic Army. The other one gave it, I don't know, 15 ambulances to Islamic Army. And this is how they contributed. It all can be is your Islamic duty, right? This is what you should be worried about. And if they come. But why it is, we are having two enemies, right? People without knowing it. One is the political Islam in general, and the second one is a new enemy, is the left and the apologists
Left.
from Islam. Yeah, for
Yeah.
it.
I actually think the left are more dangerous. Even the so-called right,
Yeah,
who are supposed to be right, they're actually in panic mode. They're terrified of the names.
yeah, that's right.
And
That's
that
right.
they fear that I suppose to a point, like, they think for their political career, but that's how bad a country is, that they're so much in fear. Even the right are in fear of getting a name tag.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, really, to be a racist, I'd rather be a racist than to be a bigamist or to be, a child murderer or anything. But the right, even now, um, they feel that racist is the worst name ever. It's almost like it's become like I'd rather be a racist than a traitor or anything like that. It's like, it's become so crazy. It's like, they can't comprehend that it's like, you're talking about an ideology, number one.
Yeah,
Number two, it's words. You're not going out murdering. And this whole idea of hate speech is
yeah,
such bullshit that you could say words
yeah,
that if you said words about me being Irish, that suddenly I have a right to be so annoyed with you I can go and stab you to death, and that's okay because you caused your own death.
yeah,
It's absolutely insane. And they think that this is okay. The left is the ones that are absolutely terrify me, and the reaction, and the so-called right, because that panic call last night absolutely was quite awake. It really did wake me up. I didn't realize even the right were that terrified of
yeah,
being associated
yeah,
with some, and that's how scary it is. I can really see it hitting exactly what you went through in Iran here because of the left and
yeah,
the people who were supposed to be on the right, terrified, not being able to stand up or willing to stand up
yeah. That's
and
right.
say, yes, I am against this.
That's very true. Because you see, what it is, what in here, I'll try to distinguish the differences and the commenting between the left and the Islam, and you can see it slowly start to make sense. Yeah, the left uh, are for more harmful. Yeah, you are absolutely right. The left are more harmful. Yeah, because when it comes to Islam, then I'll tell you, the Muslims start sort of taking a bit of a deceive, and in certain places they sort of a bit more flexible. But that's the part of the game. Don't
Yeah.
don't be fooled with it. What it is, when you talk about the left, should be using broad brush, and that the left has not the has not a formal doctrine. Yeah, left doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it uses the sort of those titles. You're a fascist. You're a racist. You're this and that. But Islam has. You see, Islam has the Sharia,
Yeah.
is the formal doctrine, as so as uh, Sirah and Hadith and Quran itself. Yeah,
Yeah.
left sees the world of comprised of the oppressors and the victims. Yeah, why it is the always left come and say, for example, oh, these people, the rich people, have been sucking your blood. They've been taking your money. They're rich and they laugh at you. They use and you abuse. Blah blah blah. Yeah. But the Muslims are always the victims. That's you see the differences. But they are all, both of them, right. Always, they are right, and other people are wrong. Yeah. They never wrong. Always you talk to Muslim, always play the victimhood. Oh, but look, 9/11, and now people looking at me dirty, and they asking me, are you Muslim? And there we are. So, it is a tool to be fed. Exactly like, as I said, for example, 9/11. Or here, even after the Manchester bombing, what
Yeah.
happened? They took the stage, and the Muslim were running the show.
Jesus.
You know,
The most shocking of all those examples was when that American singer, and they blew up the children with the nail bomb, um, and the nail bombs. And literally after, I think it was like a year, two, maybe 2 years ago, literally afterwards, the government went on, I think it was the mayor who actually went on and said, we will be putting constables on mosques. I was like, what? We're going to be protecting Muslims. And there was no Muslims at this concert. It was a children's concert. It was American, and they went over. I think it was Manchester, and they blew them up. It was just like absolutely shocking and
yeah,
disgusting that the first thoughts was to protect Muslims' feelings.
That's
just in
right.
case somebody
That's right.
might have retaliation and say something nasty. And then, listening to the UK putting people in prison for putting bacon on a mosque where
Yeah,
grooming gangs and mass rapists because they're Muslims get off.
that's
It's
right.
absolutely, that's what scares me is
You
the
see,
left. The left
if
in
you
this
look,
country and the left in that country.
that's right. If you look at that show, especially that Manchester one, that was the most. I mean, I was so irritated, to be honest with you,
And
watching
people
that
start
show.
singing that.
Right? Look, they are laughing at our stupidity. That they killing our youngsters, kids. We singing, don't look back in anger. Don't worry about it. Forget it. Put some candles. Show your hands as a heart or something. Show a heart sign. Put some flowers. Put some balloons. And what? Next again happens. And you put more balloons and more signs and more, I don't know, these more teddy bears. These people are laughing at our stupidity. What kind of a moron we are. We're losing people time after time for years now, and we keep putting the balloons and the flowers and the teddy bears and heart sign and singing "Don't Look Back in Anger."
Oh my
I
God.
bet you people, let's see one small Pakistani girl or boy or something, kid or one man being killed. Let's see what's going to happen in your town.
You know what would happen, Elvis? Not only the Muslims would scream and shout all about, but the leftists would scream and shout.
This is what
It
I'm
would
saying.
be played 24/7 all over your Western countries and
Yeah,
played over and over again. While meanwhile, there's millions. They say even up to 3 million in UK have been groomed. So gang raped in the UK. There's been how many killings, how many whatever. So, but there'd be one
yeah.
thing, and it'd be the worst thing because they'd have, look, see, look. That one killing justifies all the mass amount of killings, and all the mass amount of killings that are to come, and all the rapes that went, and all the rapes. That one thing. Look at that. Look, let's have a look at it again, and let's find out all about his family and his cousins and his uncles and wherever, and let's find out everything, and that is what the left would do,
Yeah.
and they would ignore every other thing.
This is
Like you notice,
one
even
year.
in even when the attacks happen, like years ago when the attacks happened, you'd see the victim's family, you'd see all the victim, and they'd say, oh, he was a really good guy, and this is really, we're heartbroken and all that. They don't do that with Islamic attacks. They actually ignored the families. In fact, sometimes they actually show the murderer's family. Look at this. He did have a very normal family. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You now make the murderer the victim, and the victims are just forgotten. We won't mention them because, it might cause some racist
Yeah.
feelings with people. So, ignore all the mass amount of rapes and the killings because we don't want any racists coming about having terrible thoughts. That would be worse than the killings and the rapes. It's insane. The left absolutely freaks the hell out of me. I'm sick of
That's
them. They
right.
really are the most dangerous.
What
Because
these idiots they don't know that if Islam take over, first all the left is gonna be executed one by one, as they did it in Iran, as they did it anywhere else. Look, history will repeat. History has been repeated, and
it
if you
is
don't
being
learn, you
repeated.
are doomed to repeat it. You see, what these idiots they don't know, because I don't blame them. They are a bunch of morons. I spoke to the leftists. They are a bunch of uneducated morons. They go with what they hear. I was talking
Absolutely.
to
See,
this
it's
this
cognitive
Remainers, for example.
diversity as well. They put all that shit into their
Yeah.
stupid heads.
When I was talking to these Remainers idiots, yeah, they were a bunch of Corbyn followers, Labour Party. When I was asking him, why you want to stay here? Why you want to remain in Europe? Oh, because we're going to stop another world war happening. Seriously? Honestly, this is what is in your head. Or, we can travel freely.
Oh God, this is
Are
so
you
stupid. I've
kidding?
heard them say that. I mean, they even annoy me, the lefties in your country. This country, they really annoy me, but your country even, I just find they're hilarious. I'm like, seriously, America's not in Europe. How do you think you can travel there? And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Europe is a continent. The
Yeah,
EU is like a company. It's not, you cannot take the UK out of a continent. It's not
absolutely.
possible. It's a country. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, they're so, and it's like, oh, we won't be able to travel. Oh, really? Ask anybody in Switzerland. I'm sure
Yeah.
they're fine
Doesn't
traveling to France.
doesn't
Don't
it
hear anybody swallowing up, screaming and shouting that they can't get out of Switzerland. They're not in the EU.
doesn't it tell you that these people haven't studied, that haven't researched well? Look, majority of them, when I ask them, just to prove to myself, do they know what the hell they're talking about? Do they know what they're doing? When I ask them, who's the boss, who's the president of the EU? They didn't know. How much we
Mm.
pay? They didn't know. Look, they didn't know anything about anything. They just there holding the flag, and
Oh, yeah.
we saw they've been paid in a brown envelope, right? They were paid up to £80, 50 to £80 every time they turn up. They've been paid. Honestly, it's been seen, it's been viewed by people. Look, the other, let's come back to the thing because we're gonna, otherwise we're gonna go forever. The second common thing between the lefties and the Muslim is this, that left and the Islams are group orientated. Yeah. If you look at the communist regimes, they were saying, for example, republic, um, sort of regime of people of Congo, let's say. Well, always these people is in there. Republic of People of Congo, Republic of, I don't know, people of China. Yeah. Look, this is one of the common things. Yeah. And what is in Islam? They got the same thing called Ummah. Yeah. Or the grand collection of the Muslim, of all Muslims. Yeah, they call them Ummah. Can you see that? Can you see how they are close to each other? That's why they are uniting. Yeah, and in the left we have collective of the commune. Yeah, for the left and justifies the means and if the violence gives the right goal, it is acceptable. So literally, if they see what we can get at the end, as they were doing it, this communist group in Iran, yeah, they armed themselves and they were coming outside and shooting people. Hmm? Lots of innocent people in the pavement. They were going to work, to school, here, there, or coming. They were shot dead, killed, just because of these idiots wanted to actually fight with the Shah of Iran, or sort of, do some sort of a terrorist group, terrorist activities, right, against the regime, because they didn't know any other languages, right? So in here we got Antifa, yeah, as you can see,
Yeah.
yeah. They burned for example, the Antifa in America, yeah. I don't know whether you remember that bit or not. When they burned the limousine that they thought belongs to an oppressor, yeah,
Mhm.
was actually belonged to an immigrant
Mhm.
who was doing mini cabin.
You're
See
fucking
how
crazy.
stupid these people are, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sick of their stupidity. As I was saying to you, that phone call last night
Yeah,
really typified the most
yeah,
stupidity of them. Terrified
yeah,
that they would be associated with an anti-Islamic group. Like,
yeah,
if you're going into politics, you should be able to stand up for yourself and say, yes, I am anti-Islamic. We all should be bloody anti-Islamic.
yeah.
And that, not even just the left terrify me. So-called players saying on their right, if they can't even stand up for what they believe in,
Mm.
like, we've no chance. If you can't actually say, No, of course we're anti-Islamic because these are the reasons. We need to protect our country. We need to protect our people.
Yeah,
But they're
absolutely.
not even willing to do that. They're so scared of being labelled racist. It's
Yeah.
really just, there's no chance. There is absolutely, we've no chance when the left is so strong and the so-called right are bloody weak as hell. They can't even stand up for what they believe in.
Yeah. You see, we, as you know, we got bunch of lefties every year on the 1st of May. Yeah. The workers' day. Yeah. They come and demonstrate. In their demonstration, what they do, they attack banks, they throw paints here and there, and they break glasses, they flipping, destroy anything on their way. Who has paid for all those? Hmm?
Yeah, the hard
Obviously,
working.
taxpayers, and including themselves because they are paying tax somehow or
Most,
another.
most
Yeah,
of them are either in college
right.
or checking on the dole. Most of them are useless.
And if somebody is that stupid to damage the, for example, telephone kiosk or I don't know, bus stand or something, then you can imagine how brainless these idiots are, how morons, that they only causing some inconvenience for ordinary people. For me, that I'm innocent, I'm not supporting, for example, this or that. Hmm? But that's the way they know, only way they know forward. Yeah, violence
I
and
think they've been taught and paid for violence, and there's even programs on that they're actually teaching them
yeah,
how to,
yeah.
create anarchy. Basically, it's a scary time. It's very
Yeah.
very scary once you have these paid idiots who will create
Yeah.
anarchy.
I'm not sure if I send some of the pictures that what they did back a few days ago in London. They throw paints on the some memorials. Yeah, one of them was Winston Churchill. They throw paint all over these statues. Yeah,
Yeah.
and one of them was a war memorial. Basically, bunch of soldiers and sort of pilots, whatever, sort of in the memory of the Second World War that was even opened by Queen. They throw paint all over those, and that was an insult to people who lost their fathers, their beloved one in the Second World War, people who fought for the freedom of these idiots. Hmm?
Yeah, and they are bloody
You
idiots.
know, people who shed their bloods and their life for the freedom of these idiots to come and throw paint over the memorial of those people. Can you see the stupidity?
Absolutely. I really can see it. I can see it so much in this country because there's so much, our government included. It is just treacherous. It's really just so scary. And that's what scares me. Not so much Islam anymore, because I do realize Islam is evil. But it's only evil and gets away with evil because of the left and because the right, or
Yeah,
so-called right, aren't
yeah.
standing up. There's practically no right in this country. I think you've got a few good parties like UKIP and stuff like that, where we don't have anything like that. We have nothing.
You see, in Islam, violence is acceptable and is been used in their history, as you can read in many occasions. So in Islam says if the violence advances Islam is good, yeah, use it. But morally right to use a Islamic deception, yeah. For example, the Muslim come and use exactly the same thing. Oh, these people are not Muslim, they bombing. In Islam, we don't say that. We condemn these kind of activities. But it's not. We know it's not really what they're saying is absolutely wrong and is sort of not right. Yeah. you know what, they got something called taqiyya. Yeah, taqiyya
Yeah.
is if you can bring somebody to Islam, or you can deceive people to get away with what you have done, is acceptable. Yeah, you can lie, you can even swear, you put your hands on the Quran and swear by this Quran that, you know, I haven't done this. But they saying if your heart is not with your hand, is okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can lie in the face of anybody, right? Muhammad uses the tools of assassination, yeah, to overcome his political enemies. He did. He assassinated so many people just to overcome his political enemies, right? He did it many times. That's all it is. I can't sort of shrink everything in this short interview, but I advise people, go and do a research for yourself. Don't listen to me. Go and read the life of Muhammad. There is a book. Go and read it. See
Yeah,
what
I think
Muhammad
everybody should read it, actually. I'm not just reading the Quran, I think they should all get their copies on Hadith and the Sunnah to actually put it
yeah,
together and actually understand what we're talking about.
yeah. You
And I
see,
think anybody who thinks that being in an anti-Islamic group is dangerous for the reputation, have a read of the Quran, the
yeah.
Sunnah, and the Hadith, and then know what you're talking about. But until then, if you don't know what you're talking about and you say, oh, you can't be in an anti-Islamic group, well, then there's something wrong with you because you actually don't know what you're against. And if you're not against it, then you shouldn't be in politics in the first place.
These things are being documented. Look, it's not a sort of lie. They are coming through this series of their Islamic book. You know, go and read it. Go and
Yeah.
read the, go and read it. For example, how Muhammad married Safiya. Yeah, Safiya was married 2 days before that, just 2 days, and Muhammad basically did a genocide of these Medinan people. He killed her father, her husband, and her brother, and he by force married her. He raped her on the same night. Yeah, go and read the story of Kurfa, the middle-aged woman who wrote something against Muhammad, and Muhammad ordered to be executed, and they put the woman, poor woman, between two camels, and they charged her to different directions. And this poor woman, she was torn to pieces limb by limb, right?
Jesus.
Go and read the story of Asra bint Marwan, who was a mother of five. She was a tribe leader in Medina, yeah. And this woman, again, she wrote a poetry about Muhammad. Muhammad didn't like it, yeah. And he ordered to be killed. What somebody said, I'll kill her for you, you know. So he went nighttime in her house when she was breastfeeding her little born baby. He took the baby away and he stabbed her in her chest. Come on, people, read this stuff. These
Yeah.
are made up. It's in their own book. This is in their own history. I'm not making it up. Go and read it yourself.
Yeah.
You know. So
Absolutely.
see the brutality in Islam. Look how Muhammad been absolutely harsh. Even last night I was reading something about the perfume, let's say. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Muhammad
that's against
loved
Islam, isn't it?
perfume. Muhammad loved perfume, and he says always accept it as a gift. Always the Aisha put him perfume on him, and he was going to his wives and coming still, still smelling of perfume. But what he says, if a woman wear a perfume and go in a public and people smell that perfume from her, she's an adulteress. Literally, she's saying she's a tart, she's a whore.
And she can be killed.
Absolutely, can be stoned. Yeah,
There's hope for women. But
just because
that's what
she's
really
wearing.
annoys me, is that people standing up, not even for Islam, people who don't want to be seen as not speaking out. How do you think you're going to stop this ideology if you can't even say you're against it? If you're like, oh, I don't want to be racist, oh, I don't want to be seen against this. If you can't actually even stand up that much guts, don't get into politics. Because if you haven't got the guts to say you're against this, then you shouldn't be in bloody politics.
Absolutely.
Because you're just as traitors as the rest of them. So there's no point you going in.
No, I would put it this way. I would say if you can't be truthful to yourself, yeah, then sorry, you are not right. There's something wrong with your brain.
Yeah.
If you read, if you want to come like just what George Bush or Tony Blair or just before you read the Islam, and I bet they haven't read even one line of Islam or Quran or any of the books, you keep coming saying Islam is the religion of peace. Sorry, then you're not having a right conversation with me.
Yeah.
Because you're not
You
telling
obviously
the truth.
haven't read it,
Either
so you're just lying. Exactly. They should be done for lying.
That's right. Either you are lying or you're talking complete nonsense because you haven't read the book. You just come in saying
And you
something.
shouldn't be in politics to talk completely about something you don't know. You shouldn't be in politics because that's the whole thing. If you don't know, then you're supposed to say you don't know. But to actually go and say, "Oh, it's a religion of peace," well, either you're completely lying, as you said, or you're actually that dumb that you think that you can get into politics and lie about.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah. So we want to talk based on, the truth and the fact and the figures and, sort of we're going to have an academic discussion kind of, based on the proper research and truth. I'm not going to sit here because some people said Islam is a religion of peace. And I'm saying, they said Islam is a religion of peace and that's it. I'm not going to accept that thing is like this. Yeah. So I'm reading it for myself. I'm doing the research and I'm saying, no, hold on, it's not. Truly is not. Yeah. It's
And
more.
even if you didn't read it, you wouldn't have to be a rocket science to work out all the gang raping, all the terrorism attacks, all that. Why is it happening? Did they all read the wrong book? Was there two books? Like, why would you wouldn't have to be a rocket scientist to know there's something up with this, and why every political religion who warmonger. They protect it. Why are all the warmongerings protecting it? I
Look,
mean, you
it's
have to
written in
start
the
seeing.
book. It's written in their book. But the Muslim, look, I was watching his video. It was a march for women, Muslim women march for freedom, something like that. Yeah. And this Muslim woman standing behind the microphone. Islam is the perfect religion. I don't know. This president bought the book and he wrote the declaration of based on Quran. Why are you lying, people? Why
Yeah.
are you lying to yourself? If you woman, you Muslim woman, cannot read what Muhammad has done to the women, what he has said, what his opinion is, what the rules and regulation is, then sorry, you are lying to yourself and you are more stupid than anything else because you cannot accept the truth. You
No.
cannot see the truth. There are hundreds and hundreds of stories, surahs, these, that, and in Islam that it says women are amongst the people of hell and they are slaves. Have efficiency in their intelligence and their faith. Sorry, there is something wrong with these people, you know. Anyway,
Absolutely. There's
no,
something, but you know what? I even can get her because, growing up in Islam and all that sort of stuff, she probably feels she doesn't know any better. You can make excuses for her and her stupidity. But the left, that's what annoys me,
yeah,
and the so-called right,
yeah.
they have no excuse. They haven't been
No,
brainwashed.
but this is what today I was trying to actually bring this thing that why the left actually supporting Islam, and again is look too stupid giving hand to hand, yeah, hand in hand to come against the European civilization and destroy our literally democracy and societies. Yeah. But they haven't got a clue. These lefty idiots, they don't have a clue that, look, if the Muslim come, yeah, to power, you're gonna be executed first before me. Yeah. And I'll tell you why they're gonna do that. Because they believe the Christians and the Jews are people of the book, right? Although it's a deceive, right? They believe, I believe in some kind of a God or something, but you don't believe in God, yeah? You're gonna be executed first, as they did it in Iran. Go and learn, people. Go and get some education for your own sake before you get beheaded. Before basically I get beheaded, right? I would have a chance if I pay jizya, yeah, I can survive. You cannot survive. You are sentenced to death, right? So look, the left is never wrong and Islam is never wrong, yeah? They they are playing the victimhood, right? The Islam and the left have more um, in common, such as the street demonstration, for example, and riots. I'll just give an example of it, that these people come, demonstrate, and literally break everything on their way. They destroy everything on their way. And they saying, oh, you know what, because, for example, that limousine belonged to the oppressor and the rich man. Hmm? While possibly it belongs to one, that it was actually in America, it belonged to one immigrant who was using it for his own business. He was making money, right? For his life, for his living. But they broke it. This is how they judge, right? But you see, the left and Islam both hate Israel, yeah? And the
Yeah.
Christians. This is another point between them.
Why
Both
do
of
they
them,
like? I find this really shocking, particularly in Ireland. There is a real, and I actually would worry for Jewish living in Ireland. There is a complete, because this country is complete leftist. It's extreme leftist. It is, although they don't understand it, it is more connected to Nazis that they shout at anybody with conservative views because they don't actually understand that Nazism was a left socialist. They haven't actually put that together or even read that. They just like listen to the Irish media, but they're very anti-Israel. I mean, so much so they're anti-Jewish everywhere, and it's quite scary. I would worry about Jewish in Europe, but particularly in Ireland, because they actually flew a Palestine flag over City Hall.
yeah,
That's how leftist this
yeah,
country is.
exactly. So you see, if they both of them hate Christianity and the Judaism, yeah, the Israel, both of them. But you see, Islam, it will come with a bit of a deception in here, yeah. The left they don't, but the Islam will come with a bit of a deception, yeah, at least. He will say, oh, these are the Christian and the people of the book. Christian and Jews are the people of the book, yeah. It says actually in their book, in one of the hadiths, actually say, we smile in the face of non-believers while in the heart we curse them. At least they will smile in my face, yeah, by lie. At least they will lie.
Yeah.
But the leftists, they wouldn't do that. But you see,
No.
the Islam, the thing is, the Islam, if they get to the power, they will break the cross. You look at the invasion of Europe. Yeah, I'll give you a good example of it, right? If you look at the map of the invasion, the country's been invaded. Yeah,
Yeah.
they got something in common. All these countries, they got cross on their flags. Mhm.
Yeah.
You see, England is the St. George's. All the Nordic countries, they got cross on them. Yeah,
Yeah.
Greece got a cross on it. You name it. Even German flag got a cross on it. The real German flag got a cross on it. So look, they breaking the cross in this way. They invade. taking over our churches and bring the cross down. And you see, so they're doing it, right? You see, both Islam and the left are very aggressive and want to nail down our civilization. The left is the hammer and Islam is the sickle. If you look at the sort of common flag, yeah, that's what happened. The lefties are the hammer and the Islam is the sickle, yeah. Both of them are utopian, yeah, utopian, and want to establish their utopian dream on this earth. They are also both to the to literally and want the total control of every aspect of our life. Yeah, they are totalitarian. Yeah, they are totalitarian, and as we have seen it before, um, in when the communism was ruled in China, in Russia, they had the control of life of people. Everything was under control of the government. Yeah, because that's the way it is. And Islam is the same. You see, Islam got the total control of your life. I just explained earlier that is your Islamic duty to come and pay, yeah, to give your money. Is your Islamic duty to do this, to do that, I mean, to go to the war, and, even they will send you on the mine, yeah, to blow up yourself because of the Islam. And you go to paradise, to Jannah, yeah, and you're gonna get I don't know if you are a male, you get 72 virgin, but I'm not sure actually if you are a woman what you're gonna get. 72,
Wasn't it? You get this. If you blow someone up, you get this man with this this sounds gross. The dick that doesn't fall down, it doesn't get floppy. I read that somewhere that that's what they get. Only the
I'm
jihad.
not sure. Possibly, but it hasn't been mentioned in Islam that whether the women gonna get 72 Arnold Schwarzenegger type, to come and give them oil massage or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. Nothing has been mentioned. Yeah. But if you're a man, you get 80,000 boys servant, boys, and
80,000 boys.
virgins,
Wow.
which 70 of them they are from the hell. They are prostitute, literally. They are good, experienced prostitute, and 2 of them they are houris. Yeah. Anyway, God help us with these idiots. I don't know what they reading and how they reading it. I don't know.
Like as I said, it's the left that annoy me more, and it's the soft right, because the soft right are as bad as the left. Because there's no point being right if you're that soft. You're worried about your name. It's even like with Nigel Farage when he came out and he was like, said the things about Tommy Robinson. That was completely out of order. If you're going to be right, you have to stand up for what you believe in. There's no point being soft right. Well, I do think this is wrong, but I'm not going to speak out about Islam. Islam is a huge issue, and if you're not willing to speak out about it, then you might as well hand over your keys to your country, because there is no other way other than to stand up and say what's going on and read it. If you don't believe it, read it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. At least people, if you're like what I did, although I was born in a Muslim country, in Iran, I didn't know a lot about Islam. Lots of people didn't know. I don't really think if they were reading. In general, I'll tell you what it is. Muslim people are extremely lazy and unliterate. Yeah, they don't read books. You go in, watch for yourself. You go in the libraries. See how many Muslim people are there reading. Just watch for yourself. Just read it. Don't believe in me. Yeah, I'm talking nonsense. Yeah, go and see yourself. See how many Muslim daytime they are in front of the coffee shop smoking shisha, having a shish kebab, and talking shit, and they chasing girls, and they looking at the girls, although it's supposed to be haram, but they do it. They're hypocrites.
Yeah.
Just look for yourself. Yeah. It was some sort of a thing I was reading about how many books been written in ratio of Muslim and the Jews is 1 to 7 to 7,500. One
Wow.
book written by a Muslim, 7 to 7,500 written by Jew.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
yeah, because the Jews, the Christians, they are educated. They are, no wonder their countries. All this technology comes from West. You look at the sort of America. Yesterday, I was looking at the time of the Hitler in Germany, and the guy who later on basically he made a rocket, and he was a rocket scientist. Yeah, since he was a kid. Then he went to America, and literally he became the father of those sort of Apollos that, even the Apollo, I think it was 11 that he went to moon for the first time, 1969. He built that, you know. So look, we've been, even during the war, we've been active. Even during the war, we've been making things, sort of using our head to make things and technologies to, even if it was for the war, at least, yeah. We never stop thinking. You look at around you. You look at the paintings, architecture, art, science, technology. You name it, and compare it with one country in Middle East. You look at Afghanistan. You look at I don't know, Iran. Maybe they bought this stuff, but did they build it? Not really. Thanks to us, what they got. Yeah. Otherwise, they would have possibly, still living in a flipping huts and, tents. So
Yeah.
this is all around you, people. Just watch and compare. Use your head. Use your, research for your own sake, because either you're going to be sacrificing here, right, or your children going to be sacrificed in the future. Either or, for the sake of yourself or your kids or your grandkids, please go and read, go and research. Don't listen to people. Use your own initiatives and your own head. Anyway, in here, again, we're going to do a bit of a comparison. You see, they both want, these lefties and the Islam, to conquer the world, yeah? But Islam has a better model here, because it's not simply conquest, but the civilization war, yeah? When the Muslim come, they want to wipe out your civilization. The left, they will leave the building. They wouldn't possibly destroy them, right?
Yeah.
But the Islam will destroy anything. I did give an example of when the revolution happened. They went on the tomb of the father of the Shah of Iran. It was a beautiful building, right? And they destroyed it. They built a public toilet on it,
Disgusting.
right? Just to say, you know what? Forgive my language. I'm pissing on the grave of this man. Yeah. Even they haven't got a mercy on the dead. There was a video sometimes ago watching it happen in Libya, that the ISIS, there were a bunch of Muslims, definitely. They
Yeah.
went to the cemetery, was the cemetery of Western soldiers that they were killed and buried in there, right? For Libya. They fought for Libya, yeah. Like our soldiers been sent to Afghanistan or here and there, they've been killed, and sort of imagine they bury them there. They went to this cemetery and broke all the headstones. They destroyed the graves. Even it was a one massive cross. They hammered it. They chiseled it. They brought it down. Right. So even if the Muslim come and say, you know, oh, we love Christians, we respect Christians, we no, we are people of the book, you know, book and all that. Look, this video shows if you are the tiny bit of respect, why you bringing that cross down? Why are you destroying the grave of the dead man, who's somebody who died for your country, right? They don't have respect for the dead. They don't have a respect for literally anything, right?
Yeah, they don't.
But you see, the Muslim, that's how they're gonna fight, rather than the left gonna bring the bear. Yeah, here's the problem. The left is very keen, yeah, to on the women's right and gays' right. Yeah, it's a bit of a conflict in here, right? And on the separation of the church and the state. They recently, I don't know whether you heard it or not, they made a separation of the Greek and the Russian churches. Did you see that? Both of them are Orthodox, and they made a separation. You see, it's happening. And so that the left, if the both can bring this our civilization down, Islam will turn on the left. This happened in Iran when I did mention it, when the left brought Khomeini to power. 5 days after that, he sat on power. He issued the death warrant of the lefties party called the Tudeh. Yeah, Tudeh is called the mass, or that mass group of people. Yeah, it means, you know, also the Mujahideen of Khalq. So you see, people, they're gonna get together to bring our civilization down, but it's gonna be absolute mayhem, because it will be a war between them. As I just mentioned here, the lefties believe in certain things. Yeah, they at least believe in the women's rights and gays' rights. Muslim, they don't have a women's right and they don't have a gays' right for sure. The gay is supposed to be thrown over the roof. So that's all I want to say. That's why the left and the Islam, they are trying to unite. These are the similarities between them.
It's insane, Elvis. It's really, really insane. It just really annoys me. The the left just is more annoying. Islam, it is what it is. It's horrific. It's horrible. It's barbaric. It's disgusting. Yeah. It's against all human rights, anyone's rights, and you can't live in any sort of civilization with Islam. You can't have the safety of women with Islam. You can't have the safety of children with Islam. And that are just the facts. And if you want to go into politics, you all should be anti-Islam. And if you're not, there's something wrong with you. You can't go into politics with feelings that Islam, you don't want to, or the fact that you feel that, but you don't want to be seen saying it. Well, then you shouldn't go into politics either. And that are the people. They are the people that are really annoying me, because they have no backbone to stand up. And what good are they then? If they can't be the voice, then they're not the voice, so they might as well just stay in the background. Because if you have to be a voice, you have to be willing to be shot for being the voice.
Yeah. You see, this is the fact. Yeah, I want to be fair and I want to be just in here as much as I can. Yeah, the Muslim, they come from a different continent. They coming from different geographical location. They come with a different religion. They come with a different culture, right? And they are, as you said, what they are. Yeah, I don't blame them. But look, if you want to look at many Muslims, many Muslims, after they came to Europe, they adjusted. They said, you know what? I think I'm going to leave Islam. Lots of them, they're leaving. Lots of them left. We got lots of people got refuge of sort of our democracy and civilization. And they know in here, you know, although they can be in danger, but at least they can have some protection as well. They left Islam. they admit that, they become westernized, yeah?
Hmm.
And
But it's not even them. It's 2 or 3 generations, as the UK have
that's,
proven. But
yeah,
even
yeah,
that 2 or 3 generations, the parents leave Islam, finally get
yeah,
free from it,
that's right.
and they
Yeah,
have the choice to leave it, even though, as you said, especially if their family didn't come, if they went on their own lucky things, and they didn't emigrate. 2 or 3 generations down the line, they become more Islamic than their grandparents, which is
yeah,
bloody
yes.
insane.
No, I know, I know. What I'm saying is in general, at least some group of these Muslim, they, those who are fair and just and reasonable, at least to themselves, they they come to their sense and look, Islam is the religion of barbarism and murder and sort of violence, and I'm not going to have this. They left. At least some of them left, right?
Fantastic, yeah.
Lots of them they live in fear. They don't believe it, but they sort of saying, what, I don't want to be killed, so yeah, at least are prepared. But deep in their heart, they don't believe, right? Lots of them.
Mhm.
But what it is, if you want to compare it with the West, with the lefties, these lefties that are from here, from homeland, you got the Irish leftists, let's say, yeah,
Yeah,
born and grown up in Ireland,
yeah,
with the Irish culture, with the Irish heritage, with the Irish value, with the Irish parents, with everything Irish.
yeah.
And if these kids, right, these lefties, want to destroy Ireland and put the recent generations, yeah, I mean, existing generation and the future generation of Ireland in the risk of demolition, yeah, and complete sort of destruction, then I don't know what shall I call these people. They got
They're
only
worse than
one name.
traitors.
They got only
I'd
one
rather
name.
be a racist than one of them,
They
because they're worse than traitors.
you said
They
that?
actually, you see, a lot of them hate Ireland,
Yeah,
and these scumbag leftists,
yeah,
they hate the Catholic Church. And anytime anything comes up, they think all Christianity is Catholic Church. They're not able to actually they can work out that there's other Christians, but they only think, one belongs to England, and that's all bad. And if you want to be Irish, then you have to be Catholic. And Catholic Church is all bad because of all the
yeah,
rapes and da da da. Look what they do, and all constantly the leftist scum throw this shit at you.
yeah,
Um, and they are the biggest. This government, the Irish government, is leftist scum. The
yeah,
Irish media is leftist scum. The country is ran by leftist scum. And they don't care that the indigenous Irish race, this is probably the last generation of the indigenous Irish race. It is absolutely shocking that this generation have no love for the culture or the country or the identity or our forefathers who have spent 800 years in war to pass us down our heritage, our
yeah,
language, our way of life, for them to pass it over without a bullet to the EU, which is a Nazism
yeah,
dictatorship,
yeah.
and the leftist scum want it. Don't ask me why, I don't understand. They just hate who they are and they hate their country.
Well, only one name they suit them. As I said, I don't blame the Muslim because they are what they are and they come from what they, sort of come from
Yeah.
and what they believe. Yeah, they are what they are. You know, it's like you bring a tiger as a pet and you expect to be as a cat. Well, if
Yeah.
that tiger ate you, then sorry. I mean, that's your
Yeah,
stupidity. It's
you
not,
got yourself to
yeah,
blame. That's exactly how I feel about them.
yeah,
Because we all know about Islam. Anybody who has half a brain knows about Islam. It is what it is.
mm,
And they are what they are. They preach what they preach. And if you don't want to believe and you want to live in fairy tale, read their book and see their
Yeah.
actions. And if you want to fucking take them into your home and think, as you said, you take a lion into your home and say, oh, you know what, we'll be nice to it and it'll suddenly turn into a cat. And it doesn't, and it eats you. It's your own bloody fault. And I
Yeah.
actually feel fair just because you're willing to put everyone else's lives in danger for your stupidity.
Yeah. Exactly. But the lefties would remain with one name sticking to them.
Traitors.
Bunch of
Criminal.
traitors.
Absolutely.
Because if you are from here, born here, breathe here, you know, you use the sort of all the advantages in here. You educated yourself in this country by the money of your people and taxpayers, and you name it, and you turn the back to these people. You only are left with one name, traitors, and personally I spit on your face. Yeah.
Absolutely.
If they put these lefties next to a Muslim, I would shake the hand of a Muslim
Yeah.
better than these people. And I'll tell you what, lefty, you deserve a spit on your face. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Because they've turned on their own. The
Yeah.
Islam, a lot of them don't know any better, and that's what they're in fear of not showing that they're Muslims. Where the leftists have no fucking excuse, or the soft so-called right, when they're terrified to say they're anti-Islam, and they're just as bad as the leftists. Go on.
Right. That's right.
Anyway, it was a good discussion. Again, Elvis, it was good to get it all out and find out. But we'll do another discussion on the UN possibly next week and find out what's going on. And the EU, it's
Yeah,
maddening what's
yeah,
happening
we
with
didn't
Brexit.
finish that one. Yeah, that's something that people also need to know. This is what the only solution we got people left. We got to educate ourselves. We got to educate others. If you got the knowledge, please share it with others. If you sit in silence, you're betraying your own people.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid of
Absolutely. I think
anything.
that is
These
the
people,
only way.
these people, they sort of they throw in these titles to everybody. You are a Nazi, you are a racist, you are a fascist, you are this, you are that. Don't be afraid of it. Use the line that I earlier on I said. How can I be a racist while the whole nature and the God and the whole thing around you is a racist? Yeah. If you are a Nazi, say, how can I be a Nazi where I'm not the lefty?
Yeah.
Nazis are national socialists. Use these lines and throw it on them. And people, when they notice it doesn't work, they stop using it because they know it's going to fire back on themselves. As I did it and I won, the guy was zipped up and he basically went away. We have to,
We
you know,
have to educate them. I think it's they're
yeah,
so once
that's
they get to a certain stage, it's almost too late. They're actually gone. You've got to kind of start educating children
yeah,
because that's what the
exactly,
left have done, and that is why you have these stupid young adults
yeah,
who are brain dead because they were got at an age where they were vulnerable enough to be made, and in schools.
yeah,
The scum, the leftist scum, have been working on this while we were sleeping at the wheels, and that's where the danger is. I mean, even this bullshit now about the Irish border.
yeah,
It's getting to a point where it's ridiculous. Where the Irish government was trying to blame the British government, and saying it was the British
yeah,
doing this, and it was all their fault. They're the bad guys, and it turns out, of course,
yeah,
which I've been always saying, it was the EU, and it will be the EU who bring the hard border. And now the EU have come out with admitting that they will bring in the
yeah,
hard border.
that's right.
And instead of the Irish media teaching or telling the Irish people that, they're still going, oh, Brexit bad for Britain. They're gone back from, oh, God, Britain will regret this, bad for Britain, to bad old Britain. Now back to, oh, Britain will regret this. They're just racists. And, oh, it's ridiculous.
Please,
So bloody annoying.
If we
And you
can,
know what? I wouldn't even be surprised that bombing in Derry had something to do with the government. Because I tell you why. Because as I said, Sinn Féin aren't even a national party anymore. They're socialists. They're
yeah,
social.
yeah,
They're Marxism socialists. So
yeah,
they're not even. So they wouldn't be doing it for that. The only reason there's pressure being put on Northern Ireland, and it's probably scumbag groups paid by the EU and Soros and the like to cause havoc. And the havoc
yeah,
is that they want Brexit out. It's not that they want Northern
yes,
Ireland.
yeah,
They want Northern Ireland 32 under the EU.
yeah.
They don't want it as an independent country because they don't believe in independence. That's backwards thinking, apparently, now.
That was the game they were playing in Iran as well. You see, when the Iranian government they were losing at war, yeah. For
Yeah,
example, they had a attack from Iraq, and they were suffering a big losses, sort of Iranians, and they had to withdraw. Then it was an embarrassment, yeah. So what they were doing immediately day after, right? Immediately, either the same day or day after, they were doing a bomb somewhere in a sort of very populated area, exploding in a shopping center or something, and lots of people killed, just to take the attention from the front line to this point. Yeah, just say, look, birdie, birdie, don't look that way, look this way. Yeah, to forget about that. Yeah, to hide it, to hide their loss, to hide their embarrassment. Yeah, this is a typical games they play in people. I'm very familiar with these games. Yeah, and now
yeah.
they are called new IRA. No, it's not such a thing, right?
Well,
It,
they don't even call themselves IRA. There's no, like, the IRA have pretty much disappeared. It's the Sinn Féin who were supposed to represent
yeah,
the Catholics, the
yeah,
nationalists up in Northern Ireland were supposed to, are now saying that they don't. For the last few years, since Mary Loopy from Lou took over, and Jerry Adams apparently stepped down, but people say he's really hasn't stepped down. He's in the background, but whatever. Anyway, since Loopy Lou is in, and they're like, oh no, we're not nationalists. That's backwards thinking. Oh no, we wanted 32, but we want it in the EU.
yeah.
What? Well, that is not independence. That is not sovereignty. And they still, and all our governments, whether it's Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin, they're all the same bloody party. They
Mm.
all go on, bad old Britain. But look, the EU, such nice people. The EU put us in bloody debt.
Yeah,
It was the British, actually. Like, and like, I'm not standing up for them, but it was the British who bailed us bloody out. But they won't admit that. It's like, bad old Britain, look what they're doing again. But look at this lovely EU, so much a better union. The Independence War was called independence because it was for independence, not to be in any bloody union. It wasn't just anti-English or anti-British. It was to be an independent country. It's like all these people are just so brain dead. It's absolutely frustrating.
if you look at the RT today, yeah, just
Yeah.
today, yeah, I was shocked. In France, there were two news from France. One of them, they sort of going against the Sharia law in the parliament, and they're saying is basically got to be demolished. We can't accept it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't comply with the human rights and all that. And also, they have created a game for these children between age of, I don't know, 8 to 11, something like that. And what they doing, they want to teach the kids between right and wrong. And one of them was to project the image of Putin
Oh,
as
jeez.
a evil man.
Oh,
He
my
was
God.
a ex KGB, and
Oh,
KGB was a secret. I beg your pardon. So who are you?
yeah.
While
Oh,
you
my.
got a Macron worse than Adolf Hitler,
Absolutely.
now you're talking about Putin. Who's, I mean, if you want to say, why you don't put a Macron in there saying, what kind of a moron he is? Can you
Yeah.
see? Who are you to teach my kids? Who's right, who's wrong?
These are the people that are in schools and are in bloody TVs, radios, 24 hours a day. They're being blasted with this bullshit.
You know,
Absolutely bullshit.
I mean, who are you to teach my kid through politics on the subject of right and wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, none of your business. Look how dare they people, they becoming so adventurous, to come and literally sort of dare to teach my kid who's right,
My
who's
son
wrong. Maybe
came
I
home.
don't believe in what you believe.
My son came home with this questionnaire, like to find out whether, and it was on American, whether you're a Democrat
Yeah,
or Republican. Like there's all these like questionnaires. Do you believe in immigration? So he sat down with me, and I
yeah,
said, Keenan, for a start, when they say immigration, they're covering it in huge forms, as in refugees, illegal immigration,
yeah,
as you know, as criminals coming in. It's not. If obviously nobody is against legal immigration. Someone
absolutely,
gets a job
absolutely,
there and they're benefiting the country. Who would be against that? What the Americans and what Donald Trump was illegal. People who have criminal records, who've done genocide in their countries, who are mass rapists, who are
absolutely.
dangerous, or who have nothing to offer his country.
But
They're
hold on a minute.
illegal. And
If
unless a refugee and refugees and the migrant, the so-called economic migrants, they're all different. And by putting it under one label is bullshit. And that is the
absolutely,
liberals' mentality, that they're all the same. It's not all the same. They're very different categories.
look at the Trump. Yeah,
Yeah.
Scottish. He's Scottish. But
Yes.
look at the difference. I mean, how are you going to compare that with these two, for example, women that recently become a sort of Senate people? Yeah,
Yeah.
one of them called I think it was that Palestinian woman. She even used language. She called Donald Trump son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get the
And
son
the
of
other
bitch out.
one, and the
Disgrace.
other one,
You should actually be put into prison for absolutely attacking the president like that.
yeah, I
It's
mean, it should
no
be,
other
yeah,
president
yeah.
would have this been allowed, that
I
they
agree
would be allowed to talk about them like this.
I agree with you 100%. It should be somewhere to stop, because this is. But you see, what they going wrong, these people, as when, for example, I remember when Trump came, there were lots of people going against Trump, and I turned to one of them. I said, "How dare you attacking a president of the country that is allied to our country, plus he represents the majority of people of America. So if you're insulting him, you're insulting the majority of people of America. But people don't see it this way.
No.
Think he's on his own. No, he's not. He's a president. He's presenting the majority of people of America, you moron idiots. He is not just Donald Trump. He is America.
He's America's voice. He is the
Yeah,
president of America. And
yeah,
if those people, they should be, particularly if they're American, if they
yeah.
don't respect their president, they should be taken down. No, I don't respect Taoiseach, but he wasn't voted in. He actually was put in.
No,
He
no,
didn't get,
I know, but
he
I'm
wasn't
talking about
voted
the legal presentation, not illegal
in.
presentation. But you see, also another mistake the American do, typical mistake. They saying, "Oh, we love immigrants. We are the nation of immigrants." Seriously, the difference is, yeah, you are a nation of immigrants, but don't forget the difference between these immigration that you're talking about. Yeah, first of all, those immigrants, they came from mainly Ireland, Scotland, and Europe. Yeah,
Yeah.
because of the war and because of for example, Irish people went because of the famine and all that
But
sort of.
the thing is, when the Irish went, they didn't get free houses, they didn't get free cars, they
No,
didn't get
no,
free
I know
fucking
that.
anything.
No,
They
I
had
know
to
that.
work to their
No,
bones
no,
for
I know
every
that.
single thing.
I know that. But what I'm trying to say is the difference is they were people from the very civilized continent. They had culture, they had history, they had sort of knowledge, they had, you name it. These people immigrated with the value of Christianity, and they came with that value. They didn't come to take over. They didn't come and use and abuse and destroy you. They came because that was the situation, right? And the founder of the America was English. The difference is you're looking at the two different, comparison, yeah. But now the immigrants come in. They come in from a different continent, different belief, different values, right? And what they're trying to do is destroy and take over to diminish you, right? That is the difference. Yeah, your forefathers were immigrants, but they were from Europe, not Arabia.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Absolutely. Anyway, it's been good to talk to you again, Elvis. And we'll talk next week. And thank you so much for your time. We always get carried away. I always take more of your time. But it's fantastic because you're so interesting. You have so much to say.
Thanks.
So we'll talk about next week. Sorry?
I hope I'm being useful and, people can...
No, you are. I mean, the thing is, it is about educating ourselves and educating others. As you said, it's the only tool we have is education. And that is the only tool we have because they have everything else. They have the media, they have the government, they have all the money, they have all the criminals in place. So the only thing that we have is educating ourselves and educating others, and to not be afraid to use our education and not be afraid of our voice. And once you have idiots bringing me who are afraid of people being in groups, then you've lost the battle. You can might as well give it. Because if you've lost the fight before you've even begin, it's like, I often talk about boxing. If you watch boxers, particularly Conor McGregor, he usually psychs them out beforehand and he, talks them down. So, like, a lot of them are actually, you almost see shriveled. He has knocked them so much personally down before they've got into the ring. He's already won the boxing match. Yeah. And that's a bit like what's going on now. If you're easily worried about names or groups you're in, you've already lost the fight.
Absolutely. As back in Iran we say, fear is the brother of death. So if you are fearful and you're scared, you're halfway down to death. You're already dead.
And as we say in Ireland, I'd rather die as a free person than live as a slave. And that's what they're doing, living as a slave. If they're afraid of what groups or what they say, then they're not free. And there is nothing that is more important than freedom. Freedom of what we say, freedom for our lives. And for many generations in each country, they've had to die for our freedom, for us to give it away because of fear. Fear of even groups and being name called, not even of death, of name called, and maybe criminality, being tagged a criminal. So what? They have to give up so much more before for us. And if they give in so easily, they've won. And for everybody, there is no more fight. They've just won before because of bloody name calling. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is crazy. But again, Elvis, thank you so much. And we'll talk again about UN next week. We'll have a discussion about what's going on with that. Because again, it's just more leftist scum is really the number one enemy, I think, because they're the ones who are winning the battle for Islam. It's not even Islam are winning the battle, it's the leftist scum who are winning it. And the weak so-called right who are almost helping them. They're not doing... If there is a right in this country, I don't even really think there is. It's just a weak non-left. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll talk next week. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Darling. God have mercy on all of us and guide us to the right path.
Amen. Amen to that. God save us.
Yeah.
Thank you
Anyway,
very
love
much.
talking to you, and hopefully we'll see you next week again.
Talk to you next week. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You are listening to Irish News Radio at irishnews.net. Email news@irishnews.net.